Hello and welcome to the Midday Update. These are the top headlines from our newsroom today. First day of Muharram will be public holiday in the Sultanate. Oman exempts teaching staff from institutional quarantine. Muscat governorate students to get jabs. Amid COVID-19 surge, Pakistan's capital imposes smart lockdown. Cuba registers new daily record for cases, deaths from COVID-19. 5 killed in clashes south of Beirut, according to local media. Oman's shooter Khatri aims for top display in Tokyo 2020 Olympics. In addition to that, in today's episode, we have a very special guest, Isa Al-Adawi, joining us all the way from Japan, who participated and represented Oman in the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. But before that, let's see how the weather condition looks like in the Sultanate in our weather update.
This is Maythil Chukeli with today's weather update, and right now I'm reporting from inside the TFM studio in Al Khuwair. Before we move on to our weather update, here is our fact for the day. The air is 78% nitrogen. That is our fact for today, and now let's take a look at how the weather will be like in the Sultanate. Muscat will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 39 to 33 degrees Celsius. Musandam will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 38 to 34 degrees Celsius. North Al-Batana will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 41 to 33 degrees Celsius. South Al-Batana will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 44 to 34 degrees Celsius. Al-Buraymi will be sunny, temperatures between 45 to 32 degrees Celsius. Al-Dhahira will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 45 to 31 degrees Celsius. Al-Dakhiliya will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 43 to 30 degrees Celsius. North Al-Sharqiyya will be sunny, temperatures between 43 to 28 degrees Celsius. South Al-Sharqiyya will be sunny, temperatures between 40 to 32 degrees Celsius. Al-Wusta will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 45 to 29 degrees Celsius. And the fall will have thunder showers, temperatures between 28 to 24 degrees Celsius.
Welcome back to TTV, watching Midday Update. Now, before we get into the details of the local stories for the day, let's see how the COVID-19 situation looks like in the Sultanate. The Ministry of Health has announced the registration of 18 new death cases due to coronavirus in Oman today. With this number, the total death toll stands in the Sultanate at 3,868. The health officials have also extended their deepest condolences to the families of the deceased. In addition to that, the Ministry of Health has also announced the registration of 287 new coronavirus cases in Oman today. With this, the total confirmed cases in the Sultanate stands at 297,122, which also includes the number of total recoveries, which is 280,423, as well as 3,868 deaths. In the last 24 hours, the ministry has also announced a registration of 531 recoveries. The Ministry of Health has urged all the citizens and residents living in the Sultanate to follow the precautionary measures issued by the Supreme Committee and the Ministry of Health. And now from a local desk. The first day of Muharram 1443 AH, which will fall next week, will be an official holiday for employees of both private and public sector companies, institutions and establishments, according to news published by Oman News Agency. The Civil Aviation Authority, commonly known as CAA, has issued a circular excluding teaching staff and their families from institutional quarantine. The authority said in a circular to all airlines that, starting from Sunday, August 1st, 2021, the Supreme Committee that deals with COVID-19 excludes institutional quarantine for faculty members working in government, private and international educational institutions and their families coming to the Sultanate, provided they adhere to home quarantine guidelines and wear the electronic bracelet. Previously, the CAA had announced the exemption of all medical assistance categories and their families from the mandatory institutional quarantine. The Ministry of Education, in coordination with the Ministry of Health, will begin to vaccine students aged 12 and over in Muscat Governorate starting from Tuesday. Vaccines will be administered at Oman Convention and Exhibition Center, the Governorate's Directorate General of Education has said. Students who are eligible are to come to the immunization center after receiving a text message with details of the appointment to be produced at the center. The message will be sent to the phone number of the guardian as registered on the educational portal. The student must be 12 years or over on the day of immunization. Only one guardian may accompany the student to the center. The student must carry a birth certificate or passport to verify personal data against. Residents must bring residence card along. For more details and inquiries, please contact 9322-0436 or 927-15572. It's time for us to take a quick commercial break, but stay tuned as we have a very interesting guest joining us today. As I mentioned earlier, that in today's episode, we'll be joined by a very special guest who has made his country extremely proud with his participation in the ongoing Tokyo Olympic Games. So let's welcome Isa Al-Adawi. Thank you so much, Isa, for taking up time and joining us today.
For having me on your show today.
It's definitely our pleasure, and I just want to say that congratulations on making to the Olympics. I know it's not a piece of cake. I understand there was a lot of tough competition that you had. So on that note, I really wanted to ask you, at this age, you're such a young boy, how does it feel to represent Oman?
It was really great. It's always been a dream of mine to participate in the Olympics, as it's the biggest sporting event in the world. It happens once in every 4 years. It was such an honor, and I feel so grateful to Oman Swimming Association and the Oman Olympic Committee and everyone who made it possible for me. And having said so, I feel it is still too premature to call myself an Olympian yet, because I haven't made the qualification at this time. But goal remains to represent Oman in Olympics with a full qualification time. And because that I've been given this opportunity, my age motivated me to improve on my swimming ahead of the next Summer Olympic Games in Paris.
I'm sure that by next summer, like you just said, that you're not claiming yourself to be an Olympian, but for us, you will always be an Olympian. Just making it to that big event, it's not a piece of cake, like I said earlier. And Isa, I always wanted to ask you that I'm not sure if you're coming from an athletic background. Are you coming from an athletic background?
Not really. However, my father enjoys sports, and exercise is always part of my family. And my parents always encouraged me to exercise as long as I remember. I grew up spending a lot of time playing outside with my family and being exposed to many kinds of sport just for fun. And when I started school, I always enjoyed the PE lessons, and I got many medals for running, swimming, and football from school sport events. I'm also a black belt in karate, which I started at 3, and I used to play football for an IDC for junior. So I'm familiar with different sports.
That's amazing to know that you have so many things under your belt. I thought it was just the swimming that you were pro at, but it's lovely to know that you're really good at karate and football as well. Now, talking about your journey, Isa, could you tell us, when did you realize that you want to be an athlete, and how did you come up with the notion that you want to get into swimming of all the sports that you have been playing?
when I was in my fifth grade, my school launched a swimming team and participated in Muscat inter-school competition and won all my races I entered. And over there, I was spotted by the head coach of Oman Swimming Association, and I was invited to join the national team. That was back in March 11. And later in July, 4 months after I joined the national team, I was chosen to compete in the GCC Swimming Championship, and that was my first competition outside of Oman, but won gold medal in the 50 breaststroke, and that was the time I realized I wanted to focus on swimming. So I started swimming competitively at the age of 11, which is quite late compared to other Olympians, but I'm happy with my decision.
You know, when you said that you started swimming or you started taking it seriously when you were 11 years old, did you ever imagine or did it ever occur to you that you will one day be representing Oman at such a massive event that is the Olympics?
Honestly, this first Olympic is like a dream for me, the Tokyo Olympics. And it was such an honor for me to participate. So I'm really happy with my participation this time.
Now, Isa, you're still there, you're still in Tokyo, you're in Japan, and I really wanted to ask or understand the environment of Olympics right now. How is your experience so far? How is it? What exactly are you learning or what exactly are you understanding being there?
Being the Olympics, being this world's biggest sporting event, I'm surrounded by top athletes from their respective sports. Being around the environment, you can really see the level of professionalism and the attention details to their sport. And this is something I'd like to take from my experience and use it to my benefit as well.
Right. And also one more thing that I'm sure a lot of viewers would be thinking that, you know, the whole world is still amidst the pandemic, and COVID has made things extremely challenging and difficult, you know, concerning the COVID cases and the deaths around the globe. And during this time, and you know, knowing that Olympics is reaching, how did you find time to, or how challenging was it for you to prepare for the Olympics?
Quite honestly, it was very challenging. The pool were closed end of March of 2020 to the beginning of July. And because swimming is done in the water, most of our training is in the pool. So it's very hard to replicate what we do in the pool in dry land training. So it's extremely challenging, and one of the was to remain motivated in this uncertain pandemic, and trying to be creative dry land to replicate swimming was the biggest challenge.
Right, right. Isa, I wanted to ask you one more question. I know that you're an amazing athlete. How were you as a student in academics?
I did all right, I think. I'm in Japan. Thanks to the Ministry of Higher Education, I was able to achieve a scholarship to study abroad, and that was I was supposed to go to the US. However, I saw the training program in Japan where they have a good academic studies and good sporting level. Therefore, I changed my scholar from the US to Japan. I think I do just okay, in my opinion.
Well, I'm sure you were a wonderful student too, because knowing that you have achieved so much in such a young age is truly an amazing thing that you have done. And I wanted to ask you, like, you know, a lot of times what happens is that an athlete, when he focuses on one thing, then he loses the balance of the other. Say, studies or academics. How did you manage to have that kind of balance in your life?
For me, balance. I'm very lucky to do what I love. So swimming doesn't feel like work. So swimming feels like a pastime, something I enjoy. And I'm surrounded by people who do the same at my college. Therefore, it feels normal. And I've been doing this for a while now, so I'm used to this lifestyle. But it was very difficult when I was in school, juggling both studies and training. And I always wanted to study at a college abroad that has a strong swim team and for my training. And I knew that in order to make it happen, I had to compete for a higher education scholarship like everyone else. So it was a challenge, but I'm used to it now, so this feels normal.
Right. You know, Isa, I don't really want to hold you for really long because I understand that Japan is 5 hours ahead of Oman, and I'm sure you have a lot of other things and other commitment. One last question I would really ask you is that do you have any message for the youth who are trying to pursue their career in athletics or, let's say, swimming?
My would say to the youth is enjoy what you and don't focus on the goal, but enjoy the process. And to do it, so can you. And I just hope to motivate others like I was motivated by my seniors and the coaches.
Well, thank you so much, Isa, for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure and lovely talking to you.
Thank you again.
Wishing you all the best, and I hope to see you next time.
Inshallah. Thank you very much.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Isa. Well, that was Isa Ladawi for you all the way from Japan. It's time for us to take a quick commercial break, but stay tuned as we have more updates coming your way from our international desk. Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Midday Update. And now from International Desk. Pakistan on Sunday imposed a smart lockdown in various sectors of the capital city, Islamabad, due to a surge in the number of COVID-19 cases. According to a notification issued by the Islamabad District Magistrate, the movement of residents will be restricted in 27 streets in different sectors with a high COVID-19 positivity ratio, reported local media of Pakistan, Dawn. Exemptions to the order include essential services and supplies like pharmacy and medicine shops, grocery store and bakeries, patients for medical aid or medical consultation, rationing, drinking water supplies, utilities and emergencies. This comes after Sindh province imposed a partial lockdown from Saturday till August 8 as the COVID-19 cases are surging. Meanwhile, Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan on Sunday slammed the partial COVID-19 lockdown imposed by the provincial government in Sindh. While speaking during a question and answer session, Khan addressed the Sindh's decision to impose a partial lockdown to curb rising COVID-19 cases, saying it hadn't taken into consideration the hardships of the poor. Pakistan continues to record a spike in COVID-19 cases as the country's total number of confirmed cases has risen to 1,029,811, while the positivity rate of the virus was recorded at 8.46%, according to the National Command and Operations Center. Now, Cuba on Sunday set a new daily record of 9,747 cases and 87 deaths from COVID-19, bringing the total number of infections to 394,343 and the death toll to 2,845. The Ministry of Public Health said in its daily report that 3 pregnant women and a 12-year-old child were among those who died in the last 24 hours. Among the new cases, 22 had a source of infection abroad, said Francisco Duran, the ministry's national director of hygiene and epidemiology. He added that this disease is not the same one we faced last year. According to the ministry, 5% of the patients diagnosed were asymptomatic, with correspondence to the new behavior of the pandemic in the country. July was the worst month Cuba has experienced during the pandemic, with 200,398 cases and 1,553 deaths registered. So far, 34.2% of the population has received at least one dose of the domestically produced vaccine candidates as part of the national vaccination campaign against COVID-19. 5 people were killed and over 10 were wounded on Sunday in an armed clash between supporters of Hezbollah and a rival faction in Khalde at the southern entrance of Beirut, Al Jadid local TV channel reported. The armed clashes erupted after the funeral of Ali Chabli, a Hezbollah supporter who was killed during a wedding in the area on Saturday night. Saturday's killing was committed by the brother of a teenager who was killed in a clash last year, allegedly by Ali, according to the report. Contacts among Lebanese authorities are underway to reduce tensions in Khaldi while the Lebanese army units were deployed in the area. Meanwhile, the Lebanese Red Cross has been calling for a ceasefire so that the injured people can be sent to hospitals. Once again, it's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned for more updates from our sports desk.
The Olympic rings represent the 6 continents. The 5 colors of the Olympic rings were chosen by the founder of the modern-day event, Baron Pierre de Coubertin, to reflect the 6 inhabited continents on this planet. The symbol, which features 5 interlocking rings colored blue, black, yellow, red, and green, are intended to represent Europe, Asia, the Americas, Africa, and Oceania. The Olympic flag and symbol made their debut at 1920 summer event in Antwerp, Belgium, but popularity and widespread use began ahead of 1936 Games in Berlin.
Oman's experienced marksman Hamid Al Khatri will take part in the 50-meter rifle 3-position men's qualification round at Asaka shooting range today. This is his second successive games participation for Oman's top shooter. Arab's Shooting Championship title holder had the official training session at Asaka range on Sunday under the watchful eyes of the national coach Sultan Al Rashidi. Registering a new national record is the target for the Sultanat's shooter. Now, talking about the gold medals achieved so far, Puerto Rican hurdler Jasmine Camacho Quinn continued her top form at Tokyo 2020 and delivered the first Olympic athletics gold for her country, winning the women's 100-meter hurdles final on Monday. She finished the race in 12.37 seconds after breaking the Olympic record in the semi-finals on Sunday with 12.26 seconds. Indonesia's world number 6 shuttlers Gracia Poli and Apriyani Rahayu beat China's second seed Chen Qingchen Jia Yifan in the women's doubles final of the Tokyo Olympics here on Monday. European champion Yon Kikompo won the men's 25-meter rapid fire pistol gold at the Tokyo Olympics on Monday as well. Greek jumper Miltiadis last bid at the men's long jump final of Tokyo Olympic gifted him the gold medal. He leaped 8.41 meters in his final attempt to tie Juan Miguel of Cuba, winning the gold on second best of 8 minutes 8.15 meters in front of his opponent by 8.09 meters. Nancy Petracia of Ecuador dominated the women's 76 kg classification at Tokyo 2020 on Sunday, winning gold by a huge margin of 14 kg ahead of American Catherine Nye. The 23-year-old extended her advantage in the clean and jerk with a lift of 145 kg, totaling 263 kg to win. She has become the first woman in Ecuador to win an Olympic gold medal. France were crowned the men's foil team Olympic champions for the 8th time after overwhelming the Russian Olympic Committee 45-28 in the final at Tokyo 2020 on Sunday. China's top seed Chen Yufei defeated Chinese Taipei's world number 1 Tai Tzu Ying in the badminton women's single final at Tokyo 2020 on Sunday. The 23-year-old took her first Olympic gold in her competition debut. Tennis player Alexander Zverev on Sunday became the first German player to win Olympic gold in the singles event. Italy's Marcel Lamont-Jacobs clocked 9 minutes 80 seconds to win the men's 100-meter gold medal at the Tokyo Olympic Games on Sunday. Also, it is worth mentioning that India men's hockey team on Sunday reached the semi-final of the Olympics for the first time in 41 years as the team defeated Great Britain 3-1 to reach the semi-finals of the ongoing Tokyo Olympics. Moreover, shuttler PV Sindhu on Sunday became the first Indian woman to win 2 Olympic medals. Sindhu defeated China's He Bingjiao in the bronze medal match of the ongoing Tokyo Olympics. With that, let's have a look at the medal tally for today. We have come to the end of the episode for today, but stay tuned as we'll be back again at 5 p.m. with Fighting COVID Your Way. Keep watching TTV.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM 95.4. Let's talk.